This is a recording for the Oral Archives of Trowbridge Museum. The date is 18th of June 1992. Mr Donald Pictor, who worked at Salter's Mill after the fire there in the 1930s, is talking to Margaret Neville. Just leave it a little bit. There. Now, are you a local man?
Yes, well, most of the life, yes. I was born in South Wales actually, but I was 9-year-old when I come to Trowbridge.
Yes.
And I've been to Trowbridge ever since.
Yes, so yes. You came, what, during the First World War?
Oh no, 1921 I come on.
21. And you were born in
1912, I was born in 1912.
So you came with your parents, your family moved over here,
yes,
did they?
Yes. My dad was Trowbridge.
Oh, so he came back. He came back.
When Dad was about 16-year-old, there was no work about here.
Yeah.
So along with about a dozen others, they walked to South Wales. And then Dad got a job down there with another man on the farm, haymaking and harvesting. And when that was over, the farmer didn't want them then. So they got a job in the mines. And that's, after a while, he was walking 6 miles a day to work, mornings and 6 miles home. And then after a while, he said to one of the chaps in the pit, he wished he could get somewhere nearer to live. And he said, you ask Alder up the next cut. He said, he might be able to help him. And that's where Dad went lodging, and that's where he picked up with Mother.
So then he came back in 1920.
1921 when we come back.
Yeah. So, and you went to school?
Went to school, Trowbridge Aircraft.
Oh, was that when it was a technical? Was that the technical school then?
No, just ordinary boys' school. Yes.
And how old were you when you left school?
14.
And what sort of work did you do then? What was your first job?
Oh, first job was in the bakehouse. I started 6 o'clock in the morning up till 5:30. That's 7 and 6 a week. Yes. And then I asked him for a rise, and he said, can't give you a rise, can't afford it. He said, it'd be too much to pay for insurance.
Which bakehouse was this?
The Avens, the bakehouse on the corner of Islington. And because that's all pulled down now, it's finished now. There's only a one-man show. They open the bakehouse in the morning and then go out with the bread afterwards. Then come back and clean the bakehouse in the afternoons then. And then I got a job then over at Spencer's over Melksham. For 2 years I was over there. And then they finished a big job on the diamond mines at South Africa. And then when that was finished, we got put off. There were 200 of us got put up one Friday night, just like that. I was noticed. And I was out for some while then, and then this fire broke out down there.
Then this was at Salter's, was it? This was at Salter's, the fire?
Yes.
So can you remember what year was that happened?
33, I think it was 33. August 33.
And did you actually see it?
I woke up in the night. We lived at the bottom of St Thomas's Passage.
Yeah.
And I woke up in the night and I thought, I don't know that. Look, main red there. And I got out of bed and had a look, and as I did, my dad come in. And he said, I don't know, son. He said, looked like a big fire down the town. I said, yeah. I said, I think I'll go down. And I went down. I got round there by what used to be Adlam's of Bakers, with one on Bandit shop is now on the corner there. And of course it was all going away well then. But just as I stood there, the fire engine come up from Castle Street. But the fire engine was in by the side of Pee-wee's. It used to be laundry and that there. And they had to push the fire engine down Castle Street to start it. Got down the bottom there by what used to be Dennis's garage, and turned round and come back up. Then they sent for more assistance. They had Melksham, Bradford and Usher's Fire Brigade.
So it'd be about, what, five engines?
Yeah, 5 fire engines. Usher's had a very nice little engine, compact, and a trailer on the back. They were very good, they were. Yeah. Because they had them all the way around the town. They were pumping the water from down Trowbridge and also from the town bridge, besides the fire hydrants that they had. And the passageways, there was one between what used to be Lipton's and the butcher shop next door. It's house agents now, and for the passageway in there, that was all opened up. And then one between Colborne's and what used to be Home and Colonial, that was all opened up. Then of course, round the front, they had a big opening with big double doors. Just by Bateman's opticians. They had big double doors there to go into the yard of Salters then, and they had all the fire engines around there and hose pipes and that, all the way around.
Very spectacular.
Oh, and eventually when the roof fell in, because all down under the first floor, and the floors then were all wooden, and they were saturated with oil and grease and that over the years. And as each one that goes for all the machinery to go down with it, then the next floor went down quicker because there was more weight on the top of it. There were crowds of people about. And then after a while, we heard a lot of stamping of feet, and that was the troops from up the barracks come down with a load of hose pipes and that. And then they put the troops all the way around the town to keep these passageways and that clear, so as the firemen could get in and out and keep the people back. But terrible really, to see it.
Was anyone killed?
No, nobody in. The factory the week before had been empty. They were on holiday. It was August Monday in the following week. They were empty. Then they were supposed to start, this was on the Sunday night when it broke out. Then they were supposed to start work on the Monday morning. Of course, fire went up and
did they know how it started?
Pardon?
Did they know how the fire started?
No, they could. I don't think they ever found out really how the fire started. Apparently it started up in the top floor, but they couldn't seem to find out. No. And the night watchman had been round the night before, but he didn't see anything.
And were the flames sort of right up into the sky?
Oh yeah. You could read a paper with the light from it. It was terrible reading. Then right opposite was the Quack Bakehouse and that, you see, and they were all there working, all in the bakehouse. But I don't know, I think they must have gone out the back way and come up by the side of what is Bernie's Inn now.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Yes. Because they had the Quack Hall down there and that belonged to them, so they were able to come up that way, look.
So what time was the fire out? Eventually was.
Well, I think the most of it was out round about dinner time. Yeah, but the firemen were there all day long. Yes.
What was an experience then?
Oh yeah, yes. There were crowds of people down there. Of course, all the workers come down nobody knew about it. They come down to start work. But eventually, they got them in on 2 shifts down McCall's factory, where Tesco is now. They got them down and they worked 2 shifts on it down there, until such times as the factory were built up again.
Now, you said about the troops from the barracks. Now, there was a barracks actually in Trowbridge, was there?
Oh yes, up where Slateman's garage is now. That was the barracks all round there. All that ground, all along Bradley Road, all along the front, they used to police that 1 day a year. That was shut off, because that belonged to them.
Yes.
RHA batteries were up there, horse artilleries and that. Oh no, it was lovely that, was to see them out with all the horses every morning.
God, I didn't know. No, I had no idea.
Yeah. Trowbridge was quite a biggish barracks up there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you know what was the regiment or the battalion stationed there? Who was it?
RHA. There's several batteries.
Royal
Horse Artillery.
Horse Artillery.
Oh, I
They
see.
were mounted troops, you see.
There was had one battery to go out, so another battery to come in. RHA, B battery, L battery, N battery.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yes. I suppose there must have been 250 to 300 soldiers stationed up there.
So when the fire was over, then you set to work, did you?
Yeah, after I were at work, about 3 days in after the fire, and
Were you working at Salters when the fire happened?
no, I was out at work at
Yes.
the time.
Yes.
And then about 3 days after the fire, one of the chaps come along to me and he said, "You want a job done?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "We can have a job down Salters." Well, he had a bloke living with his people that he was living with, and he was one of the charge hands down Salters, and they wanted some people to get the old iron out, because they sold the iron to a firm at Bristol, but the conditions were that they had to get the scrap iron out from all the rubble and that. And that was our job. We got that out. And then when we got all the iron out and it cleared up and everything down there, and when they started putting the new machinery in, they give us a job then, washing grease and that off the new machinery, and helping the engineers lifting it in its place and that. And then after it was all lifted in and settled up and that, then we got a job there then, carding. They taught us how to do the card loan, you know, and we worked on, all told, I worked about 2.5 years then.
Now, if we just go back to when you were clearing all the old machinery out,
Yeah.
how did you have cranes and
Oh no.
what did you have to lift it?
Oh yeah, drag it out.
Oh, I see. That would be very heavy, those.
Well, a lot of it
Or
was
did it melt?
broke up smaller pieces,
Yes.
you know. Yeah, because it was charred and black and, you know, and if anything was a bit too heavy, we just put the sledge into it and made it lighter.
Oh, I see, yes, yes. And was it you loaded this onto lorries?
No, we just got it out into the yard and they loaded it up and took it away themselves.
And was that a local firm that took the metal away?
The Bristol. Bristol
that was Bristol,
yes.
so that wouldn't be anything to do with Trowbridge.
But a firm from Caen, Blackford's of Caen, they rebuilt the factory after the fire.
What, the actual building?
Yes,
Oh.
yeah, all the brickwork and stonework and that, they rebuilt all that, put the new floors in and everything. And then, of course, the engineers come along and put the new machinery in. But that was all lifted up into each floor by pulley blocks and cranes and that.
Yes, yes.
But I remember one incident there. There was an old chap, a big tall chap, the boss of Salters, can't think of his name now at the moment. But the boss of Salters, he was a real gentleman, he was. And he'd come round and speak to everybody as he go by, morning, good afternoon, or whatever it might be. But this old chap said to him one day as he was coming by, had all that jacket on, he said, "Ain't got one of these about, boss, have you?" He said, "A bit better than this." Just for a bit of fun, right?
Yeah.
And he said, "I'll see." And when he come back, he said, "Come on along with me." And he took him down the office and he fitted him up with a suit of +4s, stockings, brown shoes and everything.
Oh.
Now he said, "You got to work in that." He said, "Didn't give it to you to go out drinking at night." He said, "You got to work in that." And the foreman of the firm checked him when he went down and checked the time he come back, and he stopped him 2 hours money.
Oh.
So he was shouting about it, like about this money stop, and somebody told the boss about it. And he went up to the foreman and he said, "You reinstate that man's money, and I want it done now," he said. "And if you don't," he said, "you can take every man off the job." And he made him pay the man his 2 hours money that he'd stopped.
Yes.
He said, "I took him down," he said, "and it's my time and my money," he said.
Yeah, he sounds a great fellow.
He was a wonderful boss, he was.
Yes.
The first Christmas, when it started, he come round at Christmas time, great big basket, and everybody had a present at Christmas. The ladies had chocolates and the men had cigarettes or tobacco or pipe or something and the other like that.
And how many people were working at the mill? Hundreds?
All told, with the dye house and weavers and everything, must have been about 150. Yeah.
Those presents.
Yeah. And all the blokes that were working on the Blackfoot's people, one day he took everybody to Portsmouth and Southsea for a day out in coaches. Had must have had about 50 coaches. All lined up round by the town hall they were.
Oh, it sounds, yes, it sounds great. So this really would be between, in the mid-1930s, this would be it?
That would be
about 1934,
that must have been about 35 when he took us to Portsmouth and that, yes.
And did you have a party at Christmas?
No, I didn't have a party, but you come round while you were working.
Yes.
He had a list, Mrs. So-and-so, Mr. somebody else. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. Yes.
And how long holiday would you have over Christmas? Would that be?
Only Christmas Day and Boxing Day.
Yeah.
You had like Whit Monday and Easter Monday and Good Friday, of course, but you had a week's holiday. August week, that was a week's holiday.
Yes.
And that's all you had through the year.
That's not very much then. And how long were the hours? What time did you start work?
Well, we were on shift work. The ladies were on 6 to 2 and we were on from 2 to 11. On Saturday afternoons and all we had to work then. They couldn't keep it all going at once, not enough. So half of it were in the mornings and half running in the afternoons.
And how much did you get paid for this?
25 shillings a week.
And so my maths is off, how many hours would you work for that? About 50, 60 hours?
Yeah, about 50 hours, 48 hours a week. Yeah.
Yes. Were the trade unions about then?
Well, I suppose it would, but we never belonged to it. No, I don't think anybody belonged to it right now, no.
So then you got your carding machine then all installed and off you went? You got the carding, or the machine, when the factory was restocked, you had your you started on your carding machine?
Yes, we'd keep two machines going at the same time. While there was work for them, you know, which was normal all the time. They were one man looked after two machines, same as the ladies in the mornings. One didn't look after the two machines.
And did that require much training?
No,
or you picked it up?
A bit of common sense and keep your eye on things. Otherwise, when it would come through the rubbers, the ends would come through the rubbers and go around onto the spools, as they call them. If you didn't keep your eye on it, one perhaps break off, and then it would be running down and spoiling the other.
Yeah.
But it was quite easy job, really.
And I suppose the actual factory floor was all modern and new after the fire, wasn't it?
Yes, they're all concrete floors then.
Yes.
Yeah.
And modern machinery.
Yes, more modern machinery than what it was before. From Huddersfield, put the machinery in.
It was made up in.
Yes, it come in parts.
Yes.
And we washed the parts off. That's what our first job.
Do you know the name of the people, the manufacturers that made the machine?
No, I don't know.
But you think it was from Huddersfield?
There were two or three of them down the rugs, but they were, that was here and that was there, you know. They were there quite some time putting all the new machinery and on all the spinning looms and not the mills, as they call them. They were all put in, she all new.
So you had two carding machines.
Two carding machines.
And how many looms do you reckon there were?
There were 6 on each floor.
Were there two carding machines on each floor, or two carding machines for the whole factory? Two
carding machines on each floor.
Yes.
And 6 mills on each floor. Yes. And there were 3 floors. Yeah.
And how long did you have for your lunch break or break in the middle of the day?
You didn't.
Oh, because you're on shift.
Yeah, you go on at 2 and you do work straight through.
Not a cup of coffee?
No, I didn't have a break.
Not a little cup?
No, you go straight through to 11 o'clock. You could make a cup of tea, and if you wanted something to eat, you had it while you were working.
Oh, so you didn't actually all sit down and
Oh no, you didn't have a separate break like from the work. You just carry on. We used to take a can, like the old-fashioned milk cans. You used to take one of them, and the tea and the sugar and the milk, and you go down the boiler and get hot water and make your tea.
And it would be pretty noisy in there, wouldn't it then?
Well,
be very noisy with all the machinery. I mean, when you were working, be very noisy.
Once you got used to it, you didn't take much notice of it, No. But when we were down in the girls that were working the old St James's Hall, there always used to be a dancer Friday nights. And the girls used to bring their better clothes with them. And they weren't allowed to use the lift. We were, the boys were, the men were. We were allowed to use the lift. And if the girls wanted to go down, you could take them in the lift. Had a rope to pull on the lift then to start it up and down. Not buttons. And the girls used to say they did finish at 10 o'clock, but we go on to 11. And about 9:30 they used to say, go down and get us a bucket of hot water. And you go down and get a bucket of water. And because it was a big floor, quite a way, and they'd be right down the other end, and they'd have a really good wash down, and then they'd change into the better clothes, wrap the other up in a parcel, and up where we lived, there were 2 or 3 of them worked up round there. They used to say, "Take this home for me, will you?" And we didn't take it to their house, but we'd take it to our own, and they'd come next morning and get it. And they'd come straight from work and go to the dance.
Wow.
Because of course the dances used to finish at 12.
Oh, so they didn't have long there in any case, did they? They didn't have all that long, even getting changed at
No,
work.
by the time they left here at 10,
Yes.
you could say about a quarter of an hour, and they were up in the dance about an hour and 3/4. So. Oh, it was quite enjoyable working there, really, you know. You learnt a lot and different things, and see a lot what to go on and that, you know.
What sort of things?
We used to look out the window and see what was going on at the back of the pub.
But the foreman sounds not, the one who stopped the chaps for 2 hours, was he not very nice then? You know, when the
Oh no, that was the builder's foreman, that was.
Oh, I see, not
yeah,
your,
yeah,
no, not
Blackford's
the
foreman,
yes.
Yes, they had the contract to rebuild the
Yes,
factory,
yes.
but their foreman.
But the mill people were very pleasant then.
Oh yes,
Yes.
they were good,
Yes.
yeah. When the troops come up, they were employed in keeping all these passageways
Yeah.
clear, you know, for the firemen now. And their sergeant who were in charge of them, he did keep going round and making sure that they kept it clear. But there was one man, one young chap, he was very persistent. He would keep going up one of these passageways, and the bloke would keep telling him to come back. And anyway, the sergeant got round there and he said to him, he said, "No, I shan't tell you anymore," he said. He said, "If you were still here when I come round again," he said, "I'll shift you." He said, "Oh, will you?" He said, "Yes." Anyway, when the sergeant come round there, he was there again, and he tapped him on the shoulder, and as he turned round, he went, "Woof." And he put his shoulder under him, and he caught him as he fell, and he was out to the way, and he carried him along the road where Smith and King's shop was, and dropped him in the doorway. He said, "That'll keep you out the way for a bit." But with all the danger and everything, and the agonies of seeing the place burnt down, there was that little incident.
Yes, yes.
And only one, it just tapped him on the shoulder, and as he turned, woof, he went like that. And he caught him. He never let him fall on the floor, just put his shoulder under and caught him.
You've probably done that quite a few times, haven't you?
Oh, I expect so, yes. Rough houses, somewhere or the other. Yeah, but, you know, it was, in one way, it was a marvellous sight to see it, but in another, it's terrible, really.
Yes,
The place burnt down like that.
So that you got the fire engines from Melksham and
Yes, they were all there.
yes.
Trowbridge was there first, of course. Then they got ushers there, and then the other two come after that. But they had one station down on the town bridge and one station down Cradle Bridge, and the hose pipes running right from there. And they were pumping the water from there.
Because they wouldn't have ladders on turntables then, would they? How did they reach?
Well, they had one ladder, Trowbridge Fire, had one ladder, but not very early, and they done the best they could with that, you know. Mostly it was the force of the water going up the height, where as far as it could go, like. But they never had turntables and that they have today, not to get up there, no.
No, so, and it just started at the top and just went
Yeah.
like that, all the way down.
But Because what they were afraid of, that the whole centre of the town was going to go. That's what they were afraid of. In a way, they were pity they hadn't cleared it out and rebuilt more.
And the factory was ready for working again. It had been rebuilt and the machinery put in by,
Yeah.
what, about 90? Would it take a year? Did it take about a year?
Yes, yes.
Or longer
Yeah,
than
just
that?
over that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about, I should say, about 16 months all told before they, you know, really got going again. Yeah.
So you said you were a carder for 2 years there.
Yeah.
Did you leave because the war was coming, or did you just get fed up with carding?
Well, I asked for the same as other chaps. We asked for more money. Couldn't get it, so well, we'll have to see what we can do then about getting more money. You know, because there was a firm in the Harm, Lindsay's, the builders, and I seen the general foreman, and I asked him any chance of a job, and he said, "What are you?" I said, "Labourer." Oh, he said, "You can have a job." He said, "Come along Monday." He said, "Bring a pick and shovel and a bucket along." And I started over here where Darlington's is now, when they built that for the model laundry.
Oh, yes. So you've worked in a very close, you know, you've not moved more than a quarter of a mile, have you then, from Salters? Because your bakery not far
That's right,
away,
yes.
then Salters.
Yeah.
Well, say half a mile. Yes.
Except for when we were over Melksham, over Spencer's and
Yeah.
Melksham.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But that's something a lot of people don't know, see, and wouldn't do today. I had a younger brother and me left school while I was working over at Salters, and he got a job down at Road, Fussell's Brewery at Road. And there was hardly any houses along that way. And Mum and Dad was a bit nervous about him going all that way to work mornings, and he had to start at 6:30. So I had to cycle with him to Road to see he got in all right, come back, pick up my dinner and get the milk from for 7:30. And then towards Christmas time, the men down there, they did work at all hours in the night, 12, 1 o'clock around, but he wasn't allowed to work no later than 9 o'clock. So I had to cycle down to meet him and bring him home safe again.
Oh.
It's no good to say you wouldn't do it in them days, you had to do it.
Well, I think that's no bad thing, really, is it?
I would like to see a bit more of that today.
Yeah, I
Yes.
agree with you.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
We had very, very good parents. They were strict. You had to do as you were told, but we had very good parents.
It was just you and your brother, or were there any more?
Oh, there was 7 of us.
Oh.
Yeah,
so
5
good
brothers,
Yes.
5 boys and 2 girls. Yeah.
And were you the eldest?
Huh?
Were you the eldest?
No, I was a sister. She lives down below. She was older than me, and a brother that was older than me. Then there was me, and then the rest come afterwards. Yes, we...
I better stop that, haven't I?